Today I'm going to help you improve your writing by showing and not telling, and we're going to focus on descriptions. So let's dive in. As you can see, this first sentence, the forest was dark and creepy, was pretty telling, and it isn't that strong. Now, fortunately, as an author, we often imagine the scenes in our mind, and then we want to make sure we can convey that on the page. So in this particular case, here's a great image of a dark and creepy forest. Now again, if I just solely use telling, I'm going to bore the reader pretty quick. They're not going to get the same immersion into the scene as by just simply summarizing to them how it made the author feel. So what we're going to do is we're going to take certain steps, whether using sensory, metaphor, or personification, atmospheric, or psychological ways of trying to immerse the reader into the scene. So let's dive into some quick examples. So first, sensory. Somewhere in the gloomy forest, a twig snapped, sharp, sudden, a shudder rippled through her. And you can use any of the senses and mix and match, but already I think we've improved on the sentence from the above. So let's do metaphor, which is making comparisons for impact. The forest at night shed its promise, morphing into a place where every rustle felt like a warning, every shadow a threat, chilling to the bone. So again, you can actually mix and match these different types. I add a bit of sensory and chilling to the bone, to the metaphor of comparing the forest from the day to the night, and the forest feeling somewhat alive. So let's focus on personification. So this is another way you can improve your sentence. The trees loomed, their twisted branches clawing at the night sky. So this is bringing the setting to life. Let's move on to atmospheric. The trees whispered in restless murmurs, their mournful shadows stretching long and thin in the fading light. Now this is again evoking mood and tone through what we think the environment feels. So that it's restless, it's mournful. Using those type of words that provoke emotion and feeling will actually get the reader to feel the same. Now let's dive into the last one, psychological. The darkness between the trees was thick and suffocating, as if it were alive, watching her every move and closing in with every breath she took. So what I like about this and why it makes it psychological is that you're picturing the forest is alive, and then that feeling of claustrophobia, that suffocating feeling in the environment is actually affecting the character, affecting how she breathes. So each of these here, I would say, are all great examples of how you can show versus simply tell. And remember, you can mix and match these styles. I would suggest not just focusing on one style all the time, but trying each in different ways, vary it up. And I think if you can do that, your writing will be richer for it. So now that I've shown you my different examples, I'll just tell you a little bit about the difference between show and tell. So related with showing, again, I want to emphasize it's about using sensory details, the actions and emotions to let the reader figure out what the characters are thinking or feeling. The reader's there every step of the way, feeling the scene as it's happening. But with telling writing, all I'm simply doing is that I've already interpreted the sensory details, actions, emotions for the reader. So the author has already done that, and then in turn is only stating to the reader what's happening. And to some degree, it's like the author is summarizing the movie. So for me, telling is really about summarizing the details, but showing is about immersing the reader in the action, emotions, and feelings, and then trying to evoke those same feelings in the reader as they're reading your book. So I hope this video helped you. I have other examples of how to improve your writing on dialogue, and you can click on here. And if you like this video, I hope you hit like and subscribe, and I'll have more of these soon. Happy writing.